Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So today we discuss a topic on numerical analysis, namely numerical integration. So normally we know integration means some formula should be there, we apply the formula, we get the output. But what is numerical integration and when it is needed? So some of the integration may be there where if you want to calculate normally like the integration formula, then it may not work, because we know that integration formulas are very much limited and it is applicable only for special cases. So numerical integration will give you to solve a huge range of problems. So let's start. What is numerical integration? Before that, you know there are two kinds of integration. One is indefinite, where no limit should be there, it will be in general, and another one is definite, where some lower limit and upper limit should be there. So in this session especially we consider the definite integration and we try to apply the general method of numerical integration, which is called Gauss quadrature formula. Let's start. So normally integration is looking like this. So integration a to b fx dx. So we know if I want to go for the geometrical interpretation, so if this is a and if this is b and say this is fx, then a to b fx dx means from a you join this one, from b you join this one. So this total area will be the value of the integration. Now when you go for numerical integration, so first of all what we have to do, this a and b, that is this x portion or this axis portion, you have to divide into some equal part. So let we divide a and b, this interval, into n sub interval. So what will be the meaning of that? That means the first one will be x naught, then it will be x1, then it will be x2, last of all it will be xn, and x naught will be a, xn will be b. So that is a equals to x naught, the next will be x1, next will be x2, like this, next will be xi minus 1, xi, last will be xn minus 1, and b will be xn. And when we divide this, we divide into n equal subintervals. That means the length should be same. So if this length is h, so this will be also h, this will be also h, this will be also h. So length should be same. So h will be the length. So h is basically b minus a divided by n. Okay. So this is the thing. Now what we can do, simply we can draw this. So this is a point or x naught, this is the corresponding functional value. So this will be f of x naught, this will be f of x1, right? This will be f of x2, this will be f of xi minus 1, this will be f of xi, this will be f of xn minus 1, and last one will be f of xn. Now f of x naught we can write y naught, y1, y2, this will be yi minus 1, this will be yi, this will be yn minus 1, this will be yn. So I think you can understand this one. So now you think, if I take any point from here or anything from here, say x of x1, so how we can write that? x1 can be written x naught plus h. So with x naught, if you add h, you go to x1. How x2 can be written? x1 plus h, x2 means x1 plus h, or you can write x naught plus 2 times h. So with x naught, if you add h 2 times, you move to x2. Similarly, x3 can be written x naught plus 3 times h. So with x naught, if you add h 1, 2, 3 times, then you move to x3. So in general, xp can be written x naught plus p times h. So I want you should try to understand this one. So xp can be written x naught plus p times h. That is all the quantity we want to interpret in terms of the starting point. So if there is something xi, that can be written x naught plus I times h and so on. So what we have got, xp equals to x naught plus p times h. Next we came back to the integration. So this one a to b, so fx, so that means in general if I take any point x, so x can be written x naught plus some p times h, okay, where p may be some member. So what will be dx? Dx will be d of x naught will be 0, that is it will be h times dp, okay. So dx will be h times dp, and fx means f of x naught plus ph. So what we are doing basically, we are replacing this x by some other quantity. Now what is the limit? You see, when xp equals to x naught, then p will be 0, okay. So because we know the integration limit will be basically, so if I write another line, this will be x naught to xn, right, x naught to xn f of x naught plus p times h dp. So when the limit will be x naught, then x naught and x naught will get cancelled, so p will be 0. If x will be xn, then p will be n, because there will be n times h. So basically this is h times 0 to n f of x naught plus ph dp, okay. So this is not a very simple thing, but we try to make you understand that how we can change the limit concept into each sub interval, okay. So now let us just erase this one so that we get some more space, and also erase the all thing except the last line. So what we are getting now, before going for the next step, so we are getting this h times 0 to n f of x naught plus ph into dp. Now if you remember interpolation, in interpolation we have given a shift operator e was shift operator. What is the job of shift operator? So e of f of xi, it will move to the next point f of xi plus 1, or rather than, so if there is e of say x naught, that will move to x1, so whatever will be the thing that will move to the next one. So if I write e square of x naught, that will move to x2, because it will jump 2 step, so e square. So now you see this is x naught plus ph, so it is jumping p step. So this can be written h times 0 to n e power p of f of x naught, because f of x naught is jumping p steps dp. Understand? So where e is the shift operator. Again we know one relation between shift operator and forward difference operator. This is 1 plus delta. So the relation is e equals to 1 plus delta. So this can be written h times 0 to n 1 plus delta power p, and f of x naught is y naught, we know from the diagram. So this one. So basically what we have got, see, we have got one binomial expansion, 1 plus something power p. So if I just express this, so this should be 0 to n, so 1 plus p times delta plus p minus 1 by factorial 2 delta square plus p minus 1 p minus 2 by factorial 3 delta cube of y naught dp. So basically if I just write, it should be 0 to n, if I just take, so this will be y naught plus p times delta y naught plus p minus 1 factorial 2 delta square y naught and so on dp. Okay? So what we will get? What we will get? So we will get h times, now if I do the integration, so y naught dp, so it should be y naught times p plus delta y naught is a constant, so p dp, so p square by factorial p square by 2 delta square y naught plus this term delta square, okay, delta y naught, sorry, then the next term, this is p square, so the integration will be p cube by 3 minus p, so it should be p square by 2 divided by 2 factorial and delta square y naught and so on, and the power is, limit is 0 to n. So now if you want to execute this, you have to put the n first minus 0. So if you put 0, it will be entirely 0. So only the n value will be granted. So it will be h times n y naught plus n square by 2 delta y naught plus n cube by 3 minus n square by 2 divided by 2 delta square y naught and so on. So this is h n y naught plus n square by 2 delta y naught plus this is 2 n cube minus 3 n square divided by 3 into 2 6, 6 into 2 12 delta square y naught. So this is the general formula for numerical integration. I know this look is not a good one, this is very complicated, you can see, and that is one of the major problem in numerical integration. So when we try to do the integration, if it is going order 2 up to order 2, it's more or less good, but if you go for higher order, it will getting complicated, so the calculation is not very feasible. But this formula is the general formula, so this is called general quadrature formula, okay, and this has another name, this is called Newton-Cotes formula. Now this formula is good for the derivation, but this formula is not a suitable one for application, okay. So what mathematicians have done, they have taken many approximations. This is one infinite series, right? This is going on and going on. So it is the problem in this method is that you cannot apply this method very easily. This is a very tedious job. So what mathematicians have done, they have taken some few parts of this one and they try to simplify and give us new formulas. So that we will be discussing in the next class. So that's all for this class. So this is purely the theoretical idea for numerical integration. This may not be very important for exam, but this is very important for the concept. So thank you for watching, and go see the next video also, where you get the idea for next few problems and how we can solve this using some specific examples. Okay, thank you.